Now our word of the evening, Caliphate, an Islamic state, or Islamist state if you prefer, led by a supreme religious and political leader known as a caliph, or successor to Muhammad and to the other prophets of Islam. Caliphate. And by the way, there are such things as Sunni caliphates and Shia caliphates, about which there remains a great divide. Well, joining us now, Fox News strategic analyst, Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters. Ralph, it's great to have you here. Let's turn to exactly the issue that confronts President Obama and the nation. We are looking at squarely at the possible overrun of Baghdad. What should the United States do, and for what reasons?
Well, the first thing we need to do is take a realistic perspective on the region. Stop talking about Iraq. Iraq is over. It's gone. It's been gone. There's a Kurdish area up in the north. There's a Sunni area in the west, which has effectively seceded. And there's a rump Iraq that's Shia under al-Maliki. So instead of trying to concentrate America's power and influence on reestablishing the artificial state of Iraq created by Europeans who are long gone, we should focus on what are our interests as Americans, and that is American security. What threatens American security? The emergence of a caliphate state, of an ISIS or ISIL state, and the organization is the bloody, horrible, ruthless stepson of al-Qaeda, so horrible that al-Qaeda doesn't want anything to do with them. And if that state were established, and it's on the way to being established in much of Syria and western Iraq, that is the ultimate harbor for terrorists, strategically much better situated than Afghanistan ever was, a menace to the region and a menace to us. So any steps we take in what used to be Iraq should be first and foremost guided at destroying the stepsons of al-Qaeda, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, and smashing that caliphate. How you do that, air power will help you. But the first thing you need is a mindset change. Forget that old border between Syria and Iraq, because it doesn't exist anymore. Lou, if you want to hurt these guys, you got to hit them at their base in Syria, not just the front lines in Iraq.
And why would I not also want to hit them at their base in Iran, in terms of the al-Maliki and his forces? They have conjoined. You mentioned the Kurdish state, which we can leave to the north, and their oil. But as you attack Syria and we attack Iraq, at this point, I question whether we need to be again engaged in that kind of war, blowing the hell out of the Shia, blowing the hell out of the Sunni, and wrapping things up in Syria at the same time, while we got 3.5 million barrels of oil production a day. At some point, we're a superpower, and we either exert our will, our interest, and demand what will be and assure it is, or we are a failed superpower. Yeah. Am I wrong?
Well, no, that's certainly right. Now, as far as Iran and the Shia goes, there's no point attacking them now. Iran is in there supporting the al-Maliki government. Let the al-Quds force, the Iranian elite force, and the ISIS terrorists in the front lines, let them kill each other. Focus on America's interests. Our interests in this particular dogfight are to destroy the chance of a caliphate, an Islamist terrorist state, emerging in Syria and Iraq. And Obama should have been on this years ago. He says he goes after al-Qaeda. Well, the greatest concentration of terrorists in the world today is, and has been for a couple years now, in eastern Syria.
Colonel Ralph Peters, as always, you have persuaded me. Now you've got to do something with Washington. Ralph Peters, thanks so much.
God help us. Thank you.
Thanks, Ralph. In tonight's online poll, should America help a Shia Iraqi leader who will ultimately align himself with Iran? Vote at LouDobbs.com. We'd like to hear from you. We're coming right back. Stay with us. Why aren't we hearing from law enforcement agencies about the cause of this flood of children who are being exploited for political purposes at our border? We'll be talking with former Democratic Congressman Dennis Kucinich about it all.
We asked people, if you could get paid to do something you really love,